morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For the YouTube viewers who are watching this, please help share it. If you're watching it for the very first time and you like what I do, you can go and watch some more of the videos. You might have a clearer understanding of the patterns. If you've been watching for the last 4 weeks, I think you're very much amazed how accurate these forecasts are. I've got a lot of messages from people telling me that already who've seen it for the first time. Those who are seasoned traders, been following me for a long time, they know how good it is, right? So I'm hoping for you to help spread this more so that more people can see it. And by the way, some of the people who are following me for years, coming back now, and one of them just wrote a message, even on YouTube, I think he posted, that he didn't even realize I was giving free video until yesterday. And he was like, darn, now how much videos I missed, I have to go watch all of them now, right? So please help share them and let's get it going. So let's start. Dollar index. Dollar index broke. It went up back. So we've got to watch this here. If you sold, you got out of the trade, right? We're looking at this pattern, and remember, there's still a chance for it to go back up, depending on whether we're going to look at it, whether this will become running flat, or whether we're gonna look at this smaller one here as a running flat in there for the downside. So this up move has still not confirmed anything. When I told you yesterday and the day before, we can't confirm the direction as yet, that's exactly what I meant. We cannot confirm the direction as yet. We see possible patterns in them, but it has to confirm one out of those two possible patterns, and that will be confirmed. So if you sold here, you got out of that trade because on the 1 hour, there were enough time for you to get out of all those trades, right? This is a sharp move up. As a matter of fact, that's not a very much unpredictable move because it was predicted in a number of other charts, even if not the dollar index. What we're getting here now is a sharp move, and it looks like we might be getting into a smaller running flat here. That's an up move. That's a continuation to the upside. If they continue this today to the upside, we're definitely going to go break this top. And that means we will confirm this running flat. Once you break the top, you'd have to be careful because it could still come back down. It's still not confirming the upside as yet, right? That could still be a 1, 2, 3, and we come right back down, right? Let me just show you. We've had many of those before, right? See that? 1, 2, 3, you came down here, go back up there, make a flat, and then right back down, right? So you've got this 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Make a flat. They could drop right back. So this upside, if it happens today, is a trade we're going to look for. And then we will see. On the downside, you don't have any traders yet. You don't have any trade set up. We have a setup for the upside on the 1 hour. That is when this comes back a little here. We will put an entry here for the buy. That is a small running flat. What if it comes lower than that? Then I'll have to wait for a flag like this before I can sell. Right? That would be the sell setup. We would not get that until maybe the end of today or tomorrow if possible, right? Silver, we sold it yesterday. Told you this thing is going to drop. Some traders managed to take out profit. I'm still in the trade. It looks like we're consolidating here. If that consolidation breaks today, I think it will break. It might take a longer while because there's a chance it could come here and go back up. It might even break the low first and then go back up. That is a running flat or regular. That's what I'm expecting, and then expecting more downside. Right, I'm still expecting more downside because this pattern looks like it's completed there with a 1, 2, 3. Now, can it become much more complex than that? Well, we will know when it breaks this low. Oh, sorry about that. We will know when we break this low. When they consolidate here and break out of this, then we will see whether we have divergence, what this pattern looks like, and if there's a chance they're going to go back up or if they're going to continue to go down. I am more interested in them continuing to go down. I think we will come and retest this low. I've showed you that pattern. I've told you what we wanted to do. We're looking at something like this. And I wanted to come down like this. So we're looking at something like this. And I'm expecting this to come down here. See, they had a correction there too. And then drop. So we're right in that small correction there. And then I expect it to come here. So this is the trade I'm going for, not the little trade we're in there right now. I'm waiting to see whether they drop today. And this is the trade I want. Back to this level. And then from there, we will decide what to do. Because from there, the probability is they're going to go back up. You see, I have an arrow here, right? They might not tag the low, but they could come enough here if it's a running flat and go back up. If it's an expanding flat, they'll break the low. Which of those two it will make? Again, it's not about you knowing which one. It's about you understanding which one could, the possibilities of it happening. And then you said, well, the running flat is good enough for me. If they go to the expanding flat, then congratulations, you just got bonus. After that, you'll have to take your profit, because after that, there's a likelihood they could go right back up. If we're wrong about it, and I doubt we're wrong about that, it will keep dropping. That's all. So you're in the right side of the trade in any case. So let's see how that happens, how this plays out today. It will take a while. And that's the trade. And we were in the trading room when we got that, in our trading room yesterday when we traded that. Gold, told you this was a perfect sell setup. Turned out to be a perfect sell setup. If you took profit here, you're well. If you didn't, you're here. And it looks like we're getting one of those running flat. Gold is a good signal that it's a running flat. We broke the low, right? So this might go back up a little, but then you can expect more downside. It might even consolidate here, then go back and then drop, right? Because this is like a running flat, whereas this one here was a contracting flat. But it was a sell setup. So if you sold it, you did well. What is gold going to do from now? Well, it depends on what happens here. If you consolidate here, you can look for another sell. I doubt they're going to go back up immediately, but if they go back, you'll have to wait. After the break of the, you'll have to wait for a flag to look for buy setups, or consolidation for buy setups, not even a flag. I see the possibility of them breaking this low. And then if it has to go back up, or if it's going to go back up, which means if you break this low, we can go back up after that, because there is a lot of divergence and the probability of it going back up is there. So let's see what happens when they break the low. This is the possible running flat we were looking at. And it seems like they're playing out that way. So let's wait and see. Go back to the 1 hour. Now the sell and goal is not that. Yesterday's sell was good. You should probably take the profit and just wait to see what's happening next. Euro broke the top. Some of my traders were in that buy, got out for positive, actually got out for break even. Some of them, I think, some for positive, some for break even. Some of them took it earlier. That is why they got positive. Some of them took it here. They got break even. It's coming back down. This was a kind of a, for us, that's a sign that, you know, when you're doing that in here, you might come back. There's a chance that this could go right back up. If this turns out to be a running flat, it could go right back up. So if you're in the trade, you'd have to be careful, right? Now, because of this piece here, I think they're going to do this. Give us a running flat here and then drop, right? So if we're right about what this is doing, we will get a sell setup today. We'll see this come up here a little, like this one. This should be a running flat. You can put a sell setup here for one more down at least. And you would have to be careful if it doesn't go very far. Right, which means if they just break this and start to pull back, you'll have to get out of the trade. Why? Because it could still be an expanding flat for upside. If it keeps going down, good for you. Your break even, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But this could be a 4-hour correction. It does do this trade, go back here and then start to go back up, and you'll have a 4-hour expanding flat for upside. Now, if that is not it, and I think there's a high probability we're coming to test this low, this would be a good trade. The sell would be a very good sell. So let's see if we get that sell set up today. Wait for it to go back up, and then we'll put the entry order for the sell. Pound. It's not going anywhere. Those traders who sold it got break even, because on the way up, they closed it. I think they did. Those who bought this got break even. So if you buy or you sell, you got break even. You should close those trades. By our strategy, you would close them. Strategies we use will allow you to get out of those trades to break even. It's not looking like it's going anywhere right now. This is going to go back up to this level. We'll probably come back down like this, but all of that together will still be a flat for one more up. Just one more up. But, you know, if you keep buying them, you might either take profit immediately or get break even. So if you didn't take your profit here, or if you didn't close this or break even, you'd want to do that when it goes up. They're not longer term trades. And you're already going to have divergence in the next up move. So you'd have to be careful there. Aussie is coming down. We haven't broken the top. That's not a good sign. Coming down without breaking the top. So we'll have to see what happens in here if it's going to go back up. So let's go in the 1 hour. And what you're getting in the 1 hour is more downside. So it might either be a bigger consolidation in the whole big picture for a daily structure, if this comes back down. So right now we would put an entry order here for a sell. As of now, that's a high probability of this becoming a running flat for downside. So you would say, well, what is the chance it could go up? And what is the chance you're wrong about that and it goes up? Well, let's look at it. That possibility exists. Let's assume for a second that this was this is not a running flat, but let's assume that is it. And this is going up. I would like to see this either make a flag here, or go up and then make a flag, and then I'll look for that trade to the upside. If I see a flag that is big enough to give me a move that will give me exit strategy, see that? Something like this. This gave me an exit strategy. This would give me an exit strategy. Then I will go for that trade to the upside because I still think they can break the top. But as it stands right now, we have a sell setup that we will be looking for. New Zealand, same thing, came down. And New Zealand, the potential of it coming down, we saw that yesterday. I explained to you in detail these patterns and the chances of them coming down and the chance of it going up back. Well, now it drops. You're getting a running flat here. And if it breaks this, that will be a sell setup back to retest this low. If it breaks, we can go for that sell setup. So on the 1 hour, let's see what we have here. Sorry. I think very similar structure you're looking at is a running flat here. So an entry order for a sell here is a good idea if this drops. Right, so we're looking for a sell setup, not a buy. If they break out of this structure, we will watch them retest this low. Right, this might end up being some kind of a flat by itself here. Well, most likely it'll have to be something like this coming here and then going back up. Give us a flat like that. So there's a possible trade happening right now here. Let's see. Swiss, the break of this was coming. As a matter of fact, we have a strategy to trade it. And if you follow our strategy, you should be in the trade. If not, you can buy this. And if you buy this, you want to close it. You're positive, and we can put an entry order to buy here. And for my traders, if you took that trade, you close it, put an entry order above the top. Can this go back down? Absolutely. Again, if you look at this as a possible flat, then we will go down. Do we have a sell setup? We don't. We have a buy setup right now. Right? There's a buy setup, not a sell setup. That has to change structure before we get the sell setup. Yen. So yen yesterday, we were waiting for this to make a flag to get this trade, right? And then they went up and break the top. No big deal. That is good. Actually, that's very good news. So what that is telling us, when they come back here, they're going to go up. This would be a running flat. And at the bottom here, remember when we were buying this, we assumed that it could go make a running flat, a big running flat. Well, yen does that quite often. I think we will get a running flat, and you might even get a sell setup here that is going to be very short term. You might get a sell setup here. That will be a short-term trade, something like this. A short-term trade here, because after that, we will expect this to continue to go up. So the pullback here would be for a buy setup. And that means we're not going to miss the buy on the yen. Even if we don't get the sell, we're not missing the bend. So what if it doesn't drop? What if they actually still stay here and consolidate? We will buy. You will still get this, but you will get that somewhere in the future, which means they will do this, do another one, do this, and then you will somewhere there you'll get that drop and then a continuation. So the power of wave analysis is informing you that that is going to happen. So when you're in the buys, you will move your stop to break even, and you'll be very careful. Right? You will be aware of what could happen, and you know that that drop is coming somewhere. So every trade you take to the upside, where you'll be cautious about it, and you move your stops until that drop happened, and it wouldn't surprise you because you'll be looking for a buy setup after that. CAD. We're in the CAD trade. You can see that already. We're in the trade from here. But again, this is the point from where they can go down, right? Remember, we took this trade. Let me just erase that. If you were following me for a while, I think we bought here. We bought this one. We bought somewhere in here. If you remember, I actually took that trade to show you. I think this was the one I took to show you it's going to go back up. We closed this. That was a Friday afternoon. Some of my traders bought earlier. Some of them bought this, and I'm in this trade also. I think this is making a running flat here. Like all the other ones, they look like they're making running flat, so that should go back one more up. If we break the top but don't break out of the structure, I'll close the trade. If it breaks out of the structure, I'll move my stops and stay with it. So put it this way. If this goes up one more, break this stop, but don't break out of the structure, I would close the trade here. If it breaks out of the structure, I'll move my stop to this level from here, break even, move it to that level and wait to see what happens here. It could still go back down, but I think there's a high probability of this breaking out. So I'll stay with this trade. Right now it's a break even, so I can't lose in that trade. And I'm trying to get this trade, right? Which is if they break out, we're coming to this stop. That's the minimum, right? And then maybe down again or continue to go up. So first, let's see if they break out today. Let's see if this is a running flat. So you would say, what if that's not a running flat? What if you're wrong about a running flat and it's going to go down? Well, anywhere between here and here that this thing makes a flag, which is it probably comes here, make a flag like this. I'm closing my trade and I'm looking for the sell. See? Wave analysis is interesting. It's amazing. You should learn it if you want it. If you really want to understand what the charts is doing and how it behaves, you should learn it. Cad Yen. We're in the sell. I'm in the sell. I should be positive now. We took the sell. It's an aggressive trade. We took the sell somewhere here. That's a very aggressive trade. We had positive. It came back at positive. I still think this could go one more, and then it could drop. Now, because it's making so much of a consolidation there, chances are it might just be a regular flat and one more up, which is something like this, right? So I think if this comes lower to this level, then do this, I'll stay with the trade for a longer move down. That would be an expanding flat and a running flat. If it actually just stays where it is, go back up there, then drop, I would definitely move my stop very tight following this because this could still go back up. Now, if this keeps falling, that's good for me. I'll stay with the trade. And I still think the probability of that keep falling is very, very high, right? I've shown this structure every single day almost to my traders and quite often to you. The probability of this thing falling is really, really, really high if you understand anything about how this market works, right? How it behaves, how these structures, what the structures look like, and what is the highest probability of them behaving one way or the other. So that is why we're trying to get the sell from the top so that if it falls, we're in the trade. Let's see how that goes today. Worst case, I'm going to get a break even out of that trade, right? Worst case, if it doesn't behave the way I want it, I'm going to get a break even out of the trade. So let's see what happens to that. Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss is still in consolidation. You can see this. You can actually put it like this. You can move the entry order down a little here now for a buy. It is going to go up. I don't know if it's the Swiss or the Aussie, but it might most likely be the Swiss, at least for the first move up. I don't think the Aussie is ready for that upside as yet. Or it will stay in consolidation. Take this out. This was the last buy to that level. Aussie Yen. Well, they'll consolidate more here. They actually did make 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 didn't drop, so you're getting another consolidation. You might consolidate some more here, and then it's probably give you one more up. Right now, it doesn't have anything, not the up, not the downside. Aussie Cad. Also consolidating, but now you have a full flat. You can easily look at this one as a full flat there. Now you've got a 1, you got a 2, you got a 3. If you get a flag here, that could be a buy setup. Let's see if we get a flag in there. That could be a buy setup. Aussie Yen. Aussie New Zealand. Sorry, did I say Aussie Yen? Aussie New Zealand. It's going to go up some more. And like I told you, that's a flat for upside. I showed you this one and I showed you this one, and upside is going. But like, you have to have patience. This is how it's going to go. And it's going to get all the way to the break this stop and get way back to around here. But you might not really get a trade in it because it's difficult to trade that way. Europound, it's still coming down, but I like the fact that they're curving. I still think we're going to come some more like this, and then we'd look for the upside. If you still want to sell it, you could give it a try, but the lower it goes, the higher the risk, and the higher the probability is that it's going to turn very fast. So unlikely unless you book your profit really quick. Euro Yen. Euro Yen has gone up a little more. So if we get a consolidation somewhere here, we'll consider a buy. If we get a consolidation, we'll assume that this is a bigger correction in here. This part is the entire correction, and this is going up. So any correction in here that just stays in that area will be a buy setup for long term. Let's see how that goes. It doesn't have anything on the 1 hour right now. Actually, you could make an argument for running flat here. So an entry out of here might not be a bad idea. Right? That's a short-term trade. For the longer-term trade, you will need a bigger correction. Euro Swiss, stay out of it. Euro Oz. Okay, we're getting some consolidation here right now. So this sell, you remember last week we talked about it. Right now it's consolidating within here. And this has to go up one more. You've got this, you've got this. I think one more up, and then we can look for the downside. Something like this. See this piece here? You've got this, one more up, and then you come down. So I think we're going to get one more up here. Is it a buy setup? Let's see if we can get a buy maybe in the 15. No, you don't have any buy setup there. Not as yet, but you could get a buy setup. Because if you're looking at it this way, you got one, then you got 1, 2, 3. You got another one. That's a perfect running flat looking pattern. So if this goes up here, give you a flag, then you can take that trade. And then downside. At least it looks like it will go down. Can they go up from this point? Totally upside from this point? Let's see. I don't think so yet. We do have some divergence. We did break the low. So yes, it's possible. Might consider taking. But I think this is a consolidation for more down. It'll probably come down to about this area. Let's see the daily, what we're looking at. That's probably going to go lower. Yep, I don't think it's ready for the upside as yet. We want much lower before we go up. So 4 hour and 1 hour. Go back to that. Look for the sell setup. Short-term buy if you're very aggressive, and then the sell. Euro New Zealand. Same here. We're still in that consolidation. I don't think we're going up as yet. We're just consolidating. This one did not drop. We were expecting this to drop. It came down, but it's not a drop. It's a slow move. So now you might be looking at something like this. All right, which means if that is the case, this is going to come back here. And you might still get another move up. Right? Because this would be like 1, 2, 3. And we still need this move up, maybe even a 1, 2, 3. So you're going to get this. You get a 1, a 2, and a 3, and then the downside. This is still correction. It's just becoming a bigger corrective structure, right? Something like this one. See this one? A bigger corrective structure than downside. So this might be the very last move down once this happens. I think I showed you that daily pattern. Let me go back to it. Okay, it could continue to crawl down, but we were expecting a correction for this move, for that sharp move. We were expecting a sharp move up and then the more downside. So come back to the 4 hour. One more here and then a sharp move up. The sharp move should be an equivalent of this. Right? The sharp move like that up, that's what we were going to expect. And then the downside. So right now you're looking for a few short-term trades. The downside, the upside, then the down. That's a consolidation ending, and then we'll see what happens from there. Eurocat. Yep. Nothing here. Looking for a buy setup yesterday. That didn't go. We didn't take the trade because it didn't go anywhere. This one just came and do this. So you probably put it here. It still looks like an expanding flat. It still look like here, and then you get a 1, 2, 3 running flat here. So maybe one more up, one more down, and then go. So be careful with the trade. But it looks, the more they consolidate there, the higher the probability is the trade is going to go up. Right now, I don't think you want to sell. The sell is useless. The sell now doesn't have any value. You're not going to get good risk to reward for a sell, even if they go. Even if this comes down, the sell is, because the bigger picture is upside. Let me just show, for those who are following, those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. This is going to go up. So selling it here doesn't make sense. Let it finish what it's doing there, and then you look for the buy setup. That's where the trade. So if you get a buy setup here, it's worth taking. The buy setup here is worth taking because they can go up from this point. Pangos. Okay, it's still crawling up, but we're looking for a sell after that. They're still crawling up slowly in the 1 hour. You probably can still get more of this, but once this is broken, you're going to look for a trade to the downside. I don't know how far this will crawl up to, but that's not something I'll buy into. Right? Once that is broken, we can look for a trade that will be down here. Pang Yen, this one actually went up quite a lot there. We're coming to the top, only breaking. Yesterday we were here. This is not from yesterday, right? This is from the 17th. So just in case you thought, sorry, this one was from yesterday, not yesterday. No, that is from the 12th, sorry. So 12th to the 17th, that's 5 days movement. So it's not like it moved quite a lot, right? It's 5 days of movement. It's still there. It's making a flat here. You can clearly see this flat here, right? We had one like that well, a lot of that, but I showed you one of that trade very lately in the oil where they go up. And then you're looking for one more up there. So when it breaks this top, that's when it becomes very important. What happens when it breaks that top, if and when it breaks the top? Because even when you break that top, it could be a long-term trade to the upside, right? Let's see what happens if and when they break this top. Does it drop? If it drops, we'll be looking at an entire different structure here. Or does it make a big correction and continue to go? Right? Those are the two possibilities of it. So a short-term 1 hour trade is a buy, something you can take and be very cautious, right? Because it's going very slow. I don't think they're going to drop from there. Right? It's possible. It's possible if you get a flag here, it might be a sell setup, but it could be short, which means they'll just come here and go back up. I don't see the drop as yet. If this wasn't here, we'll assume that that's a good sell. But because of this sharp move, I think that sell is not a good run. Pound New Zealand. This is a good sell. We're looking for a sell here. We wanted to break the top there yesterday. We broke the top. Not a buy. We were not buying it. Now that we've broken that top, we're looking for a sell. So today, if we get a sell set up here today, we're taking this straight to this level and then maybe downwards. So we're looking for a sell in this pattern. Every time you see these patterns like this, they go downwards. Let me see if I can show you a few of them. Yep, I think I should be able to. Here is a very nice one. Right? You get this, and you get this. So you get this, and then you get this one. Okay, that's the trade we're looking for. So put it in the 1 hour. We're at the top of that structure. We look for sell setups. Let's see if we get the sell setup here today. Now there is a sell setup there, but I'm hoping that it's going to be a bigger one. But that might be one worth taking. That might not be the one that go. Right? Even if this gives you a trade here and a drop, it might still go back up higher. If this doesn't look like the one that will go, we might get a bigger correction here, make a new high, and then start to drop. But it's worth taking. You can still get out for break even. On Swiss, this broke as expected. It didn't go anywhere. So if they start to do this here now, like breakout, consolidate, breakout, consolidate, breakout, consolidate, we'll start to look for the break to the downside. How far this can go? Yeah, at any point it could stop and start to fall. Right? At any point this structure could start to fall. We're expecting it. It could come all the way to this top. We spoke about that. But from any point, that thing could fall because this is the structure, right? So we would keep an eye on this right now. If you bought it yesterday, that's a break-even trade. You're getting another buy setup. If it doesn't go today, if they don't take off like a rocket, if they go really slow, you close it again, right? So if this comes here and start to do this, you close it again. And then if it keeps doing this, you probably have to make a decision to either wait for the sell or take very small trades within it, right? That's how you can trade it. Punkad, we're going to break that top finally. You can see how important breaking these tops are. We're finally going to break that top, and that might happen today. So when that top is broken, and if you've been following me from this point upwards, which is from the time I started doing them free, or even before then if you're following, when we break that top, we'll look for this trade, right? How high they're going to go above the top is anybody's guess. I'm not trying to say that as soon as it breaks the top, it's going to turn, right? But once we break that up, we're looking to come back here, and then we're looking to go back up, right? That is the pattern. So keep your eyes on this one for the top to be broken. I'm not buying it. We're not buying it. We just wanted to break the top, and then we look for the sell. So let's see if we get that today. It's very likely today it's possible. New Zealand, sorry, Punk Cat, put that sell set up there for that one. Was it a Punk Cat? Was it a Punk Cat? Yes. Punk Cat, yeah. New Zealand Yen. Some of us sold this yesterday. I don't know if they're still in it or they're close to break even. It looks like it might go down more, but it's not going as aggressive as I expect it to do, right? We expect that to drop. But it's going really slow. And this looks more downside, but if they keep doing this, then it will go one more up. So the sell, you'd have to be careful. If it starts to get aggressive, then yes. This is the trade we're looking for, right? And then from this point, more up. So let's see if we get that. It's going really slow though. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, we broke, but we're not going anywhere also. And it looks like we might be making a more complex pattern here, right? If they make a flag here, you sell. But if they go back to the top, it will just become a more complex pattern for downside. So it's still a sell. It just depends whether they go back up and then you get a sell, or whether they consolidate here and you get the sell. You can look for either. New Zealand CAD. Okay, this one is coming down. It might go down a little more. This should have come a little higher for a regular flat, but it's a running flat. It's a smaller running flat. So if you get a flag here, you can look for a short-term sell, short-term trade, and then we'll see how far it goes. It's consolidating. It's a bigger consolidation, see? So this could come down a little more here, and there's a chance we're going to go back up. Right. But there's a trade here today that could happen, and then the upside. Cat Swiss. Go break the top, and then we'll look for the sell, right? So we saw this coming, but I said let it go break the top first, and then we look for the sell. The sell is the bigger trade, right? For the daily. The sell is the bigger trade, right? Let it go break the top. Let this break the top again, maybe even a little higher like this. It might just break the top, or it might go a little higher, but then you're looking for that trade down. So the trade to the upside is the good one. Well, you don't have risk to reward in it. Can we sell this here right now? We did break the top here once. So this sell, this short-term sell might be worth taking. It might give you a break-even trade. Let me just be honest with that. This one might just come and do this and go back up. You'll have to get out for break-even. But what if they drop from this point using this as the expanding flat? Then that's a good trade. Because we already broke the top, right? We don't have to break it again. But there's an assumption that they can go break it. So we'll go for a sell here. We'll put that sell setup on. Right? This is how I would trade it. I'll put a sell setup there and just wait to see what happens. Swiss yen. Nothing as yet. We did break the top, so let's see what happens when we break that top. When we break that top, we're looking for sell setups. See? Now, is there a sell setup there? No. How far more they can go above the top? Well, they can go quite a lot. It doesn't have to break the top and immediately turn, right? But that's the minimum qualification I'm looking for. So this could still go more. Short term, you can take every trade, short trade. Short trade. You take a short trade, take the profit. I'm waiting for it to fall, make a flag, and then I'll sell. So if this is the sell setup here today, this has to fall. This here has to come down, make a flag, and then I'll go for a sell. Right? I'm looking for the sell. I'm not very keen on the buy, but that is what I would be looking for. By the way, let's keep our eyes on this. The top is already broken. I'm putting it for the sell, although there's a buy setup here today, because the longer term trade is a sell. Probably get another buy. They're consolidating like this again, another short-term buy. Oil. Okay, you're getting a little bigger corrective structure. So this is starting to making a flat here, and this should probably work its way up a little, then drop, and then go. So you don't have the buy setup as yet. And the same here. This one actually is much better. You can actually go for the buy. That entry order is still valid. Okay, this one does have a lot of consolidation in it. So I can see the spike coming, or I can see them still stay here for a while and then go. Whichever, you're looking for a buy setup, not a sell. Natural gas, probably stay away from it until it comes back, until you get a sell setup back down, because this consolidation here would drop here and then go back up. I think we'll get a possible running flat like this. Right? That's a possibility. We don't know it yet. So I wouldn't be doing anything there right now if I was trading it. Right? Okay, we're coming down. We broke the top and they're coming down. Wait for a sell setup here. Actually, there was a short sell setup. If you take it now, put an entry, didn't go. You're getting a sell setup here. See this possible flat here? An entry here. If they drop, that's a good trade. That would be a small running flat pattern. I think we could look at that as a possible running flat pattern. Can this go back up? Well, you don't have a buy setup. Even if it's going back up, you don't have a buy setup. So you have to wait for that. You might get another short-term sell setup here again forming. See? At least take this. If they drop like this and go back up, you can get out. But what if they're coming back here? This is a good trade, right? And can they go back all the way to that level? Well, I think they can. At least that was happening for the last while. Take this off. So yep, I can see it coming back right back here and probably even going lower. So you have a nice 1 hour sell setup there right now. I would go for the sell. That would only change if this goes back very much to the top here. Then the sell setup will be off. S&P 500, same thing. You're getting a sell setup here too. DAX. No, you actually don't have a sell setup in the DAX. You have a buy setup in the DAX. Right. So this is going up, and it might come back here and then go, but that would be a buy setup if that happens. If they go straight through, it's still a buy setup. It's still a 1, 2, 3. So it's more of a buy setup rather than a sell. You're getting a buy setup here as well. Can this drop? Yes, but we don't have a sell setup. Not as yet. We don't have the strategy, doesn't allow you to sell it that way. Nifty. You might get another buy. Looks like we're getting a running flat here. And then one more up. An entry out above the top wouldn't hurt you there. It will either go or it will drop. To sell, you don't have a sell setup as yet. You'll have to let it drop, make corrections, and then sell. Tesla still going sideways. Probably stay out of it until it's ready to go back up. It's just going sideways. Amazon, nothing. Still where it is. This is coming down. If you sold, you did well. The sell setup was here. I remember this 1, 2, 3. So if you sold that, good. Wait for another flag. You can move your stop. It still looks like it's going to go down more. I think there's a big downside for this. Yep, it's going down really strong, so it could go much more. Right. This looks like it could go more. And then you have, okay, you'll have to wait for flags and buy. You're getting another buy setup here. Alliance. Nothing as yet. Let's see what happens here. This consolidate like this, that would be one more impulse up. One more up. We'll still have to confirm whether this down structure ended here or whether they're going to go one more down. Okay. Bitcoin. So it's a running flat. It proves it's a running flat as we expected, this one. It did go up a little, but nothing much. Actually, this is starting to look downside back, right? It did break the top. That qualifies fulfilling the pattern. And right now, you're getting a short-term sell setup. If I was trading Bitcoin, I'll take all the sell setups I get. This is a very good sell setup here. Now, it might be short-term in that it might only do this and go back up, but you can get out of the trade there. But what if it does this? You think it's not possible? What if? This is a good sell setup. Again, let me explain it. This might only come here, break this low, and go back up. You would have to get out for positive. And I think from 49 to 47, you can get out for positive. I don't know what's the spread in this one, but I doubt it's going to be 2,000, right? I doubt the spread is going to be 2,000. Let me put that on the 15 so you can see it. I doubt this spread here is going to be 2,000. So I would assume that this could come back here and still go back up, or it could drop. So if you trade this, I think that's worth it, right? If this is what you trade, because we broke the top. And once you break the top, you qualified for a turning point or a deeper correction. So which one? I have no idea. It's the risk to reward. The reward is great if it goes. Now you have to decide whether you can take the risk in this. From a top, the risk is always good. Selling, I think all of you might have heard that easy, nice saying that everybody likes to say, right? Sell at the top, buy at the bottom. You know what's the question I always ask them when they say that? Tell me where the top is. Is this the top? How many of you are still trying to buy there? How many people out there are still trying to buy Bitcoin? The question I'm asking them, is that the top? How do you know where the top is? They don't know. That is what makes that saying as dumb and as stupid as it is. It's easy to say buy at the bottom, sell at the top, but you don't know where the top is. You will know where that top is, hindsight. When this thing dropped from here to here, then you'd say, oh, that was the top. We should have sold there. You don't know that now. And anybody who tell you that stupid saying again, tell them that's nonsense. Did you know this was the bottom or this was the bottom? How many of you knew exactly that was the bottom? No, you don't, but you take the risk. You take the risk. You take this risk. You take that risk. And you hope that that was the turning point. We look at patterns and then we take the risk. Are you willing to take this risk and sell it here to see whether that is the top? You don't know that is the top. You might know that, but for us, that is a good sell setup. If it doesn't work and all, it's a good sell setup. If you sell here and you put a stop here and you got taken out, depending on your risk, it's worth it. What if this drops? And then hindsight, you go back and say, wow, that was the top. You wouldn't know that now. That's the point. It's easier said than done. Everybody says things, and I think this is why traders say, oh, he is controversial or he likes to criticize people. No, I like to think and I like to ask questions. I like to think if you're telling me something, you have to explain the details of it. If you're saying to me, sell at the top, you have to tell me where the top is. And if you can't say where the top is, you can only say that was the top, hindsight, then it's a waste of, it's useless to trade. It's nice, it's beautiful said, but it's useless. Because you don't know where the bottom was. You don't know where the top is. Do you? How many of you are still trying to buy Bitcoin here? What if it falls tomorrow? Well, you're going to say, oh, wow, that was the top. We should have sold at the top. You have a sell setup. That's the point. You will never know where the top is. You will know hindsight. But based on wave analysis, you will have a very good idea that you can start selling here because you have a sell setup. The pattern says it could go down a little more, right? Just like this one. Remember, we're telling you this was a sell. And this one would probably come to this level. Remember, I said they'll probably come to that level. This one would probably come only to this level. If you're lucky, they'll go down. But that is at least a trade you can go for and hope that this is the top. I don't think it's the top. I think we're making a flat there. And I could give you my reasons for that, but let's forget about my reason. I think this could come here and then go back up still. This would just be a flat. But there have been times when, because of where you are, there have been times when this dropped. And that proves to be the top. Any one of these cells could have been the top. Any one of these cells. Any one of these could have been the top. And any one in the future will be the top. If this makes a new high and give you a sell setup again, that could be the top. Nobody can tell you where the top is. They will only tell you at hindsight. Not a single person in the world knows where the top is. Maybe one or two of them very, very major investor could create a top. They can't tell you where it is, but they can create one by dumping. If they have massive volume, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 5 billion worth of it, and they can dump to create a top, they can create a top. They may be able to tell you, hey, we're going to dump now, we will create a top because we're going to drop like crazy. Right? But traders, you're not going to know that. They wouldn't tell you. They will tell you when it's way down at the bottom. Oh, you know what? We sold. So be careful. XRP, there's a good sell setup. XRP, I like this one. I like small things in the sense of the cost. The smaller the cost, the better for me, right? It's easier to deal with. It's coming down as we expected. And you had a sell and you had a sell and you probably get some more sells. When it breaks this low, we will see what happens from that point. But I'm expecting them to break this low. See this low here? I'm expecting them to come and break this low. You had 1, you had 2, you had 3. You have 1, you have 2. I think I'm going to get 3 here. We had 1, we had 2. Remember I told you this is going to go up and at least break this top. It actually went all the way back to the top. What if you got lucky? What if you listened to me and you said, I would buy this here to go break this top? And it actually did this. Think about Bitcoin again. What if you're just going to go break that small bottom, but it end up falling? From where it is, can it fall? Oh yeah, you're at the top of the mountain. You can fall really hard. So this is going to come down here. And then from here is where I might be the first time in my life that I'll be trading cryptocurrencies by buying some of this here to the upside. Now, is it going to go to the upside immediately? I don't know, but I hope so. I will buy some because the risk to reward here is amazing. If I lose the money in this one, I'll be upset, but I wouldn't be that much upset. Because once it comes into this area, let me repeat that again. Once it comes here, I would put the sum of money that I'm willing to lose. I mean, like totally lose it. This thing collapses, it no longer exists, and that's it. It's gone. But if it goes to where I want it to go, it will give me 30 to 40 to 1. So if I put $1,000, that would be $30,000 to $40,000. If I put $5,000, multiply it, and that's what. So how much money can I afford to lose? That's how much I'm going to put here. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not making any trade call for anybody, and I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just telling you what I look at and what I see and what I would probably risk my money on. I would take this as a risk and said, you know what? I think this risk is worth it because I'm looking at this chart and I'm thinking, well, okay, it's probably could come back here, but then what happens when it comes here? It could probably do this and do this and do this for a while. And if it stays here for a while, then probably we could still get this. So the question would be, how long would it stay here before that happens? And that will go above this top, right? Before this happens. Now, I'm willing to wait. Remember what I said. I'm just going to put some money in that I can afford to lose and forget about it until it breaks this top. I mean, totally forget about it until it breaks that top, which is 30 to 1. And if it goes higher, that would be 40 to 1. So that's about it. If it drops totally and forget about it, it never exists. But I assume they will stay a little longer here. I assume that once they come here, it might not come that fast, but once they come here, they might start to go do this. Kind of like stay here for a while before you get that. I do not think they would, literally just go up immediately. If they do that, I'm lucky, but I don't think so. So you would have to, if you follow that strategy, you would have to probably assume that you're going to be there for a while. You'll be in that zone, in this zone here for a while, up and down. And then totally go. So that's it. Keep your eyes on that. ETH, not much here, slightly upside. This is still looking like it could come here and then slightly upside, one more up. After that, we'll see what happens. And LTC, also going sideways, more up. Literally, this piece is looking like it's going to do something like that. Right? So there's a sideways movement and then probably one more up. It's not coming down as yet. It doesn't look downside as yet. It should come down, but it's not coming down as yet. So maybe a little more up and then the drop comes. But this one is looking downside. This one is actually looking downside, and I think they can continue to go down. So that's it. I think LTC, did I do this? Yep, this one is the same, slightly up. So trade with care. Don't forget to share the videos, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you very much. I will close the recording and I will move on to our trading room. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.